Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel where we simplify Singapore's legal concepts for you. Today we are diving into the topic of desertion in divorce law under the Women's Charter. What does desertion mean? How does it apply to divorce proceedings? Now, desertion in the context of divorce occurs when one spouse willfully abandons the other without just cause for a continuous period, usually for at least 2 years. It means that there's no mutual agreement or understanding between the parties about living apart, and the abandonment is intentional. In order for desertion to be grounds for divorce, there are a few key elements. Number one, the desertion must be intentional and continuous. Number two, there must be no valid reason or justification for the abandonment. Number three, the abandonment must last for at least 2 years before filing for divorce. In Singapore, the Women's Charter governs divorce proceedings. Desertion is one of the legal grounds for divorce under Section 95.3 of the Women's Charter. Specifically, Section 95.3b states that a marriage can be dissolved if one party has deserted the other for a continuous period of at least 2 years immediately preceding the filing of the divorce petition. The court will examine whether the desertion was intentional, whether there was a lack of just cause for leaving, and the duration of the separation. Keep in mind that proving desertion can be complex. Evidence is critical, such as communication records, housing arrangements, or testimony showing the deserting spouse's intent. Let's look at some scenarios to better understand how desertion works in practice. Imagine this. John and Mary have been married for 5 years. One day, John decides to leave the marital home without any explanation or agreement. He stops all communication with Mary and refuses to reconcile despite her efforts. 2 years pass and John is still absent. Mary can file for divorce based on desertion. Now let's look at constructive desertion. Constructive desertion happens when a spouse makes it impossible for the other to stay. For instance, if Jane is an alcoholic or drug addict and constantly insults and abuses Peter, forcing him to move out for his safety, Jane may be considered the deserter despite Peter leaving the home. This is called constructive desertion. Desertion as a ground for divorce ensures that the law recognizes abandonment's impact on a marriage. However, it's not always straightforward. Courts will examine the facts carefully, particularly the intent and duration of the separation. If you are considering filing for divorce based on desertion, seek legal advice to ensure that you have sufficient evidence and understand your rights. And remember, every case is unique. At its heart, divorce law strives to address irretrievable breakdowns in marriage, but it's equally about fairness and justice for both parties. So if you or someone you know is experiencing a desertion, know that legal avenues are available to protect your interests. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.